A brief conversation with Coach Rod Rust will convince one that the 1972 version of his football team will be exactly what he wants it to be. A little bit meaner and not quite as green. Let's listen to Coach Rust's views.
Well, I think we'll have a vastly improved offense from last year. Our quarterbacks are back. We had to use 5 different quarterbacks last year due to injuries, and then they just, in terms of their own level of performance. We have 3 of them back, Phil Shotland, Rick Shaw, Tommy Nelson. They're all a year older and I think a year wiser, and I think they probably feel like they've taken enough abuse for a while. I think they're ready to be winners.
Will your defense be stronger just as your offense will be?
Well, I think, yes, one, I think it will be, and two, I think that in any overall team effort, there has to be some compatibility between the two. If we can't move the ball and the defense has to play too much, then of course it eventually did fail, and most will. You just have to have some continuity offensively to give the defense a chance to stand on the sidelines and cheer a little while.
One of the key words in Coach Rod Rust's football vocabulary is motivation. If you're looking for motivation, look no further than number 88 this year, defensive end Rex Humbarger. Rex, how tall are you?
6'7".
And your weight?
About 230, 235.
I understand you spent this last winter in the weight room.
Yeah, I've stayed a lot in there with other guys, and it helped me out a lot. Put on about 20 pounds.
20 pounds, you say. How do you feel the defense will stack up this year?
I think we've got a real strong defensive line and linebackers, and we got some good backs and everything. I think they're going to do pretty good.
Ball season dawns September 16th at Long Beach State for the North Texas Mean Green. Channel 8 wishes them well.
Hey, you guys, he's following the ball. You better be good. Spotlight's on you, Misty.
Yep. Keep your target in there, darling.
Are there any boyfriends who follow your games?
No.
You girls just stick together.
Mm-hmm.
How many home runs did you hit this year, Connie?
12.
How many homers have you had?
21.
Does Ted Williams know about you?
No, sir.
Would you like to help the Rangers if you have to?
Yes, sir.
George Voneiff will start in the 6th grade at St. Mark's Academy at the end of this month. And while other Dallas 11-year-olds were in classes today, George was baking dirt in his mother's oven.
Well, we bake it in the oven, so, like, we sterilize it when it gets baked and all the bugs get killed that we don't see when we scoop the dirt in.
What does your mom think about you putting it in the oven?
Well, it's sort of her idea in a way, and she didn't mind.
What do you have inside the greenhouse? How long has it taken you to cultivate all these plants?
Oh, it's taken us about a little more than half a year to what we have now, about 1,000 plants. We've started out with about 6 plants.
Have you been spoiled by all the publicity you've received?
Oh, I think it's pretty good. It helps our business a lot.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be an architect and, like, you know, do plants into my architecture.
Are you still going to bake dirt in the oven?
No.
Malcolm Landess for Channel 8 News, on the move.
To find the wreck, Project Director Carl Clausen used some of his own ideas and melded them with some traditional underwater research methods. The result is a map virtually unreadable to the average person, but which officials say is the finest scale and most accurate chart ever put together on a project of this type. They started with a system of range markers on the seaward shore of Padre Island. The boat's course was carefully controlled as it made its magnetic runs by lining it up on a pair of markers for the dozens of magnetometric readings that took weeks to complete. A magnetometer measures magnetic variations on the floor of the Gulf, so when these variations, called anomalies, were transferred on paper, they indicated exactly where the center of the wreck should be.
Right now we have no check on it, but we believe it to be accurate within a meter in terms of the magnetic distortions.
Okay, as an archaeologist, then what value do you think this wreck is going to have?
Well, it represents our first look at mid-16th century culture, Spanish culture. There are no comparable sites on land anywhere in the hemisphere.
Well, what do you expect to find then in the wreck itself?
Oh, all sorts of artifacts from that particular period, from the Spanish colonial period, artifacts which are nowhere else available.
No matter how valuable the wreck is to archaeologists, Clausen isn't worried about treasure hunters. He says the wreck happened before the Spanish really started taking treasure from the New World, so there won't be any significant amount of silver or gold aboard. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News, on the move.
Paul, how does it feel to be the new world's champion rocker?
Wet.
You've gone about 123 hours now. How much longer do you think you can hold out?
7 days, I hope.
When will that be?
I think Friday morning or sometime around there.
Well, tell me, after you set this record, what next?
Sleep.
Okay, good luck. Thanks a lot.
Chief, when I looked at what they're calling the manual for dissension that they put out before the convention, they referred to you as a man who listens to both sides and keeps on trucking. It was a sort of favorable comment coming from the protesters. How did you establish that?
Well, we began very simply. We took the premise that we were going to provide effective and humane law enforcement for this convention. We then took 3 bases for that. One was that we were going to protect the peace and tranquility of the whole community. Another was that we were going to be protective of the rights of the delegates to peacefully pursue their objective for which they'd been selected. And a third was that we would protect the rights of the dissenters. And it seems that this third aroused some interest. I don't know why it should. It's merely a reaffirmation of the First Amendment, and there should not really be anything startling about that. But working from that, we then sought out whoever the responsible leadership was in each group that we anticipated might be here and tried to talk with them. My top staff and others in the law enforcement profession in our area have had numerous meetings with many of the so-called dissident groups.
Have you been criticized? Essentially, what you've said is, if the group is going to demonstrate, as long as they don't destroy property or attack individuals, they can have the street, will route the traffic around them. Have you been criticized for that stand?
Well, I imagine I will be. I think there are a lot of people in this country, both from the extreme left and from the extreme right, who would rather see violence as a result of a political conference. I just have a lot more confidence in the American system. I think the political process can be handled successfully without violence, and I think we're succeeding.
At this particular point, the estimate averages from 2,500 up to 3,500 demonstrators. Are you still certain you'll make it through this convention without major trouble?
Well, we're going to keep trying. I have confidence in our men. They've been well trained. We have some confidence in the credibility we established and the pattern and tone that was established for the Democratic Convention, and we are hopeful that it will continue through this convention as well.
Can I ask one more thing? You have calluses on your knuckles. The only way I've seen those before from men who practice karate.
I have a wide range of interests, from karate to ballet, from music to art to pro football and boxing.
Judging from the calluses on that right hand, you have more than a passing interest in karate.
What was it Roosevelt said? You know, speak softly and carry a big stick. I guess maybe that's what we're into. But there really is more in police work today than just the billy club and the helmet. And I think more and more citizens are realizing what the police realized within the last 10 years.
$164.8 million Dallas school budget barely passed the board today. After discussions that the budget didn't meet board priorities and teacher salaries were too high, the board voted 5-4 for approval. Some of the members felt that a $3.5 million salary increase plus a salary increment was too much. $108 million, or 66% of the budget, will go for salaries and employee benefits. Included in the budget are $18.5 million for building and construction. The district is still retiring bonds and paying interest for the 1968 bond election for air conditioning and construction. Board operations represents a renewed interest in priority programs such as kindergarten and special education. Budgeted under other funds are food services, athletics, and scholarships. Only 2% of the school budget includes monies from the federal government and special organizations. The budget is a 4.7% increase over last year, and to the taxpayers, this means a 6-cent tax increase.
His name is Wilfred Bailey. He's a minister at the Casa View Methodist Church in Dallas. He's also a member of RCLC. They call them religious observers. Are you a part of the demonstration? Are you in favor of the demonstration? Are you a part of the police department? How do you function?
Well, our job is to remain as completely objective as possible in terms of reporting. We have observers at every event that's taking place that we find out about, and we haven't missed anything yet. And we have, for example, here at the Fontainebleau, we have 5 people covering this from various aspects, and try to give as objective report as possible what happens. We have no role as mediators or as partisans in any way. And then the information which we have is distributed to both demonstrators and to police, so forth, the next day.
Having been in this sort of thing before, I know that once trouble starts, people tend not to look at labels or identifying tags. What are the chances you may come out with a busted head or a rock in the mouth?
Well, I think that's not likely, but of course, like news people, we run the risk.
Bring the first outside hand.
Reverend Bailey, have you seen any good in your observations? Have you seen any acts of kindness, either from demonstrators toward police or police toward demonstrators?
Oh yes, I really have. That's been one of the great things about it all. The day of the Zippy demonstration, as they were leaving, it was hot. In fact, they broke up the demonstration primarily because it was so hot. As they were leaving, walking along the fence, a policeman sitting in there with a big can of water for the police offered a drink to one of the protesters, and they stood there in line at the gate and at the fence, and he filled paper cups and handed them over the fence to them. And there's some good-natured kidding back and forth, and then I've seen the same thing happen with the protesters in terms of someone making some remark to the police that another one didn't think was in line. He said, "Oh, you lay off, man, that's enough of that," or something like this, and some real good-natured moving back and forth.
The rain's beginning now, and if it works like all the demonstrations that we've seen before, gradually the line of demarcation between police and demonstrators will break up. Wherever the demonstrators go, the people with the yellow and red armbands, the RCLC, will go with them. This is Don Harris on Collins Avenue at Miami Beach.
Oh, no. I don't know if they do.
Put your arm down, you got a hole in your shirt.
Well, if they did, you know, it could be changed.
Are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's not on yet, I don't think.